I am absolutely thrilled today to have one of our favorite guests from the States, Gene Decode. I think most of you know him, an exceptional man. His career in military is exceptional. He's been speaking deeper truths, spiritual truths for decades, has died and come back, and he's one of the ones that I've been following for years and trust. And his message of kindness, service to others, service to God is so profound, particularly in the times we're living in. For those of you who haven't followed me on Tish Talk, Rumble, it's Thrive with Tish. Give me a like. I want to build the channel. It's free, and on BitChute, it's Tish Talk. You can listen on Spotify, Tish Talk. Subscribe and share the videos. There's great information. For those who don't know, I am a holistic nutritionist. It's so important these times to eat well. You can get this book on Amazon. It's my first book, like a manual on how to avoid the toxic food. And what's happening now that Gene and I are going to talk about is the resilience piece. A lot of people are getting overwhelmed, frustrated, black-pilled. We're going to lift your spirits today. But this book, The Thrive Protocol, 6 Steps to Overcome Fear and Create a Life You Love, is really an amazing book to give someone who's just waking up or not quite awake. All the tools on tenacity, health, responsibility, imagination, vision, and emotion. So this also, unfortunately, I don't have a different platform yet. And I know some of you don't like Amazon, but for this, you can get it there. And I appreciate the support as well. And I think you'll really enjoy it. So let's just dive in. Gene, you have an amazing Canadian audience. A lot of people here, though, are becoming black-pilled about Trump. So I wanted to start with this because people tell me all the time, oh, no, no, Trump is, he's bringing in the transhumanism agenda. He's got Palantir. He hasn't withdrawn the shot. He's doing more mRNA. There's a lot of misinformation around Trump, as we know. Can you give the audience an overview, this whole black pill thing that's going on? I'm trying to get people into the white pill where they can step into faith, courage, kindness, take care of themselves and others. Let's start there, Gene. Over to you.
Yeah, so on Palantir, the Alliance and Trump actually took control of it they're in charge in running the thing in starting in, I believe it was 2022. So just right off the gate, let's go there. On my Rumble, which is Real Gene Decode, which I'll share right now so people can see this. This is my Rumble. You can see on my website, which is here, I have a expose that I do bi-weekly, different news exposés. It's called News Talk. And then on the opposing week, I have one called Tea and Scones. Once in a while, when something's earth-shatteringly important, I put it on my Rumble. So my website is only $7 a month or $77 a year. And if you just want to donate, you don't want to join, there's a donate button there, and you can go and donate via the PO box, or you can click here to donate to me and the Blessed for Service and to help support the website. As you know, I don't sell things. I've tried to maintain truth to that, and I always have. Then I understand people need to make a living. This is how I do. And I keep 2 websites up. If you go down to the bottom, you'll see blessedforservice.org. Click on that. That goes straight to the Blessed for Service website, where you can see all my interviews, videos, different things that I do. Documents and resources are on there as well. It takes a little while to load up, so you can't see the thumbnails right off. But it goes back a long way. You can see I'm starting to load in now, back to maybe when you first started following me, Tish.
Yeah.
B2T and Kirsten W. And, way, 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 way back. Everything's there that we could find. There's a few small items that we couldn't find, the Blessed for Service team and I. So that's there. And if you want to go back to the Gene Decode website, they're interconnected. They go right back to each other, as you can see tonight. We also have live streams Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Wednesday is news talk. This week is on Thursday is the tea and scones. I did that with Paul of Charlie Ward's site on the Insider Club. That's on Thursday. It's called Tea and Scones Nightcap because it's 11:30 Mountain Time and it's early in the morning for tea time for them. So it's a nightcap here and a tea and scones breakfast, European breakfast for others. So when we're not doing the on Wednesdays, there's always something else. So we have a Dom's Deep Introduction Part 2, my decode on that. Part 1's already been done. I've got Part 3 ready to read in. So we get it all nice and edited up. And you can see this is already edited completely for video release. And it's a
Wow.
live stream, so there'll be a chat going along the side. I'm in the chat most 98% of the time. Then once a month, I have a Q&A as well. So on my Rumble, now let's see, where's Rumble? There it is. You can see I have Palantir Part 1, and there's a Palantir Part 2 that's should be loaded up. Additionally, on the Israel-Iran situation, I have a large, the most important thing I've ever said.
Wow.
But yeah,
I
so
haven't checked that out. I'm going to check that out.
yeah,
Fantastic.
and
Wow.
this is all free, and
That's amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's only 5 days old. It's already 22,000 views. You can see how important it is to people. It's going about the truth of the Israel-Iran situation, the conflict, the 3 nuclear facilities that were targeted by the US B-2s, and the deep, 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 deep 800 miles down truth of it and why that's so important. And also, I also go into Palantir and what is really going on with Palantir. So on Palantir,
Mhm.
the it's what is the software, adaptive AI, that is housed within the hardware in the DOM that I showed many years ago. I think it's 6 or some more years ago now, called the Hammer, developed by Obama and the military industrial complex, the neocon deep state, Khazarian. Actually, that's not who they really are, but that's how they become known. They came from a small conquering before the Egyptian Empire called the Phrygians. And then before that, they were not on Earth. They came down onto the Pontic steppes in Ukraine, migrated down there. That's directly from the Pontic steppes. It's actually kind of sort of part of it where they settled out. And they use what's called a Phrygian cap. So if you look at many seals like United States Senate seal, it has the Phrygian cap on it. And you can see it on the Liberty dime back in the day when the Federal Reserve took over in the United States economic situation, the fiat currencies. So that Phrygian cap's their symbol. And then within that, they came, as I said, onto the Pontic steppes in Ukraine, Ariana and Na, where that's their home worlds. They blew them up. From them was released, kind of like the Superman story. The heart of their planet was black, evil. They had killed it and it had turned evil. So not like Earth, whose heart is good. She does have these giant black rocks that are magnetized, but deep underground, extremely deep, like 800 miles down. Below that is the blue ice that's extremely magnetic, like in Antarctic. That is what creates the ley lines of Earth. Same was true for that planet, but its heart was evil. And so that crashed down into Israel, Iran. That's part of what I go to in Israel, Iran. Yeah,
Oh,
in that Israel Iran situation, and that's was the heart of evil on earth. So that was connected to Palantir. It's an ancient AI system that is the opposing side of that was set up by the Hyperboreans on Earth in what's called the Golden Dome, which is what I'm writing up in my US update, first one in years,
Yes.
on
Hmm.
Alaska. And it goes from Greenland, where it takes seven genetic keys to enter. That was one entry point. The other entry point is Denali or Mount McKinley. And it goes through, in your country, Nahanni Valley for one place. Yeah, I'm sure you
Oh,
probably know where that is, as well as some other areas. And
wow.
so it goes up through Mount Haynes and and Hanley and a few other and Schwatka Mountains, I believe. I have to check it out, but I'm researching it now and writing that up and seeing the pathways. I know where the tunnel goes. I don't have in my mind precisely where every single facility located it is. I have to cross information and coordinate that now that I've got the Golden Dome information. So that's the opposing side of this evil, and Palantir has been taken and shifted to the technologies. The deep state was forever trying to took them forever to get in there because they getting all the genetic keys to enter there either through originally the only two entry points was Mount McKinley of Denali or in Greenland underneath the ice and the earth way up in the north middle part of Iceland. So you got to get beneath the ice, then you got to get beneath the earth, then you have to have the genetic keys. So it's not like
Wow.
it's certainly something extremely easy. And additionally, the Golden Dome technology is able to know the heart, and if you don't have a heart chakra or you're evil, it's not going to let you in. It's not going to, even if
Oh,
you get in. It's an extremely ancient plasma AI adaptive system. Yeah, plasma,
wow.
pure
Is this,
plasma.
can you explain this? Is this connected to Trump's Golden Dome? Is this what it is? I mean,
That's
for,
what it is. It's a worldwide communication network connected to other facilities all over the world that are ancient, including one in Ukraine. That's why Crimea is like Crimea, Crimea. We want Crimea back. Give us Crimea. We are going to take Crimea. We're going to this summer offensive. This offensive to everybody. We're going to go through here and over down through there and all the way over here and take back Crimea. Yeah, that flopped. So yeah, it's a good idea for the art of war. Tell the enemy and everybody in the world exactly what your plans are.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
Wow.
okay,
So technology can tell if you have a good heart.
yeah. And if you have
Wow.
not only
That's
that,
beautiful.
if you take an innocent like a child and you force them, it can also detect that. It can detect if the person's under coercion. So they couldn't use the technology. They've been trying and trying and trying and trying. They couldn't. And the alliance got in there. Of course, it's sensed that they're good and they want to save the humans species and the earth and stop all the stuff, the dark side adaptive AI
Mhm.
and all of the stuff from what happened in 2019, 2020 that's taking people
Mhm.
over.
Yeah.
Technologies in that. And if people aren't doing protocols, you're maintaining a low vibration. You get angry frequently, you're vengeful, you're pissed off, you're upset. Not a good idea because in lowering your vibrations, that clot, as it's been called, SHOT, can hack once it's got all of the operating systems and everything and the blinking lights and the assembly factory little guys, nanotech guys in there and everything. It connects you to the dark web and it uploads and creates a virtual you from all your memories, your genetic blueprints, everything. And then it can backfeed, reverse, and take over you and start controlling you. I've seen whole freeways going 70 miles an hour here in the Front Range come to a screeching halt, like on a day like today when it's completely clear sky and dry and beautiful. And me and two other cars get off, go up the exit ramp, go back down the other side once we get the light and look back for 5 lanes. They're still sitting there. There's nothing there, nothing at all. So it's learning to take and hack and control people. So road rage Any of these things that drop your energy, if you do that on a consistent basis, then once it's built the virtual you, it'll actually hack into you and start inverting your thoughts, feelings, and emotions into completely the opposite of what your memories would be. You will even, like, if you and I had a talk we did, say, a year ago, I
Mhm.
could actually think in my mind that what I said is what you said, and what you said is what I said. It will actually
Oh.
invert it. You'll hear things in your own voice. It'll influence your decisions. It'll change it'll control you, utterly control you. It's kind of like Mark Ultra, but in the moment. It com-
Oh,
Mhm.
that's terrible. How much, what percentage of Earth has this in them, would you
Well,
say?
because of the shedding, it's pretty much, and they put it in the Operation Indigo Skyfall, which is the chemtrails, and they put
Hmm.
it in the food supply, like peel. Organic products now have a spray on them,
Appeal.
preserve them, that has
Hmm.
this in it. This technology, the graphene and all that stuff, self-assembling under exposure to 4G and 5G, which is in most, you drive through a city, a small town, you stay in a hotel, it has 5G. It starts self-assembling. It doesn't take it very long. So there are things you can do, EDTA, vitamin C at high levels, those kind of things,
Borax, does borax detox it?
you know there's Morgellons Direct. Iodine has helped me a lot. And I'm researching and going to do a road trip to find more information coming up as soon as I can get the person that I'm going to some free time to coordinate and to meet with them. So, in all of this, the thing is that it's making people not have patience, not understand the big overall picture. So, like, Trump started, bombed Iran. We're at war with Iran. It's all about regime change. Yes, but you don't understand because he supports Israel. Yeah, Israel as the home of the Hebrew people. That's not what Israel is today. It's run, set up in the first place. Everything about it is Zionist. Well, Zionists is the Khazarians, is the Phrygians, is the Ariana and the Aristanos, they call themselves, from this, before they blew up their homeworlds, from the solar system known as Sion. That's why they call it Zionism. The originals, correct words, now that they've come out in the open, are SCION, like the car, Scion. That's their home star system. So they are a predatory, parasitic species, and they are full of AI. There's several different ones of them. The primary two that look a lot like us are called Homo carpensis, and they have two types, again, because they're from two worlds, and they have an average IQ of 160 when they came here. And we're talking a long, many thousands of years ago. So that's extremely high. It's the big, like melon heads, like you see Hitler, and that kind of look. And then the other look is the, light skin, blonde hair, blue eyes, um, high cone shaped heads. So, like the Rothschilds, many of the popes, and you go back into the pharaohs of Egypt, going back to Osiris, way back before there's some scrolls that have the full listing, as well as the Temple of Seti. The second has the full listing of all of the different dynasties of the pharaohs in Egypt. It's way longer than what they're telling you. And there was a massive collapse of the entire massive civilization of really good people in Africa, in the entire Giza Plateau, out across what is now called the Sahara Desert. Underneath the Sahara Desert is massive structures everywhere, buried in sand because it was part of the Pyramid Wars, because humanity rebelled and would not mine gold to them for them to turn to monatomic gold for one of their slave groups that they enslaved by nuclear bombing their planets of Helion, Argota, and Neberu. which is in the Nemesis star system, which is a star system that orbits ours every 36,000, I think it is 920 years. It's 1 degree of orbit of the Earth's through the equinox, 1 degree per 72 years. If you multiply 72 times 360, that's the orbit. And the reason the Earth does that and that tilt happened is because they caused the orbit of it to change, and it wrenched it to coming in not at the ecliptic of our solar system, but at an 86-degree negative angle, which is it magnetic fields with the same poles, they push each other. And so it caused the Earth to wobble. They caused the pyramid wars. They caused, which decimated what had been a tropical rainforest across the entire Sahara. Was a Rob Schoch talks about the erosion on the hindside, on the rump of the Sphinx that used to be a lion and carved by a pharaoh into his head, using the mane and some other things to look like a pharaoh. It actually was a lion built during the time, one of the precession of the equinox, sorry, to look directly at the constellation Leo on the solstice. So when you stand and look between the ears directly. So, and all of the pyramids along the Nile, which used to run directly next to the pyramids, as they could see from satellite today. And then as they see from very high technology underneath the pyramids, all of them are these massive energy complexes of coils and all kinds of things. And that's connected to an underground city. So, it's an ancient technology that was driven to only live by the Nile because of the pyramid wars that decimated and created the Sahara Desert, the Gobi Desert, and several other places. And so through all of that, this adaptive AI that's what originally got it shut down for the Golden Dome, because it no longer had the full energy coming from the pyramid alignments of all the pyramids, including pyramids all over the US, Canada, things like Teotihuacan, like
Well,
that. Those kinds.
so just to be clear, I mean, this negative AI was recently shut. Is it from the bombs in Iran,
Yes.
or this
Yes.
was prior? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So Fardo was the facility that was built on top of this evil black rock that came from Ariana, specifically Ariana, not from Na, but a big chunk of its black rock that creates the ley lines for that world came here. And so it lodged deep underground and tied into the Earth's blue ice, and is projecting and maintaining a field of evil around the planet of war, constant wars. The world has been at war pretty much since it came here. We've never had peace on Earth ever since it landed here. And everybody that gets into this low vibration now, with what's out there, it being shed into people, chemtrailed into people, in the food supply, in the water, it's everywhere. So if you do that, it hacks into you. And so
Now, will it make it weaken its hold on people now that it's
now
been?
that it's shattered, it gives people some freedom. It's been mind controlling the human species to be subservient
Mhm.
to these elite groups. It doesn't, when Rome fell, those people, the Caesars, they didn't just die or get taken over or wiped out. They just moved on to places like the Vatican,
Mhm.
became the popes and became the rulers of other countries, disseminated, the rulers of many of the presidents of the United States, kings and queens, including the queen that ran, Canada, through the queens and kings of the UK and United Kingdom that spread the globe. That's the same black aristocracy. It's the Orsinis. It's the three tiers of power on Earth. It's all of that. It's that same group. They just changed their name to something else. That's what they are. They're name changers, and they took over the Silk Road the same way by killing the people traveling along it, taking their names. They're
Mhm.
amazing at adapting. They can even shapeshift some of them. And so once they joined leagues and got some of the genetic material in interbreeding with the Alpha Draco, they learned how to shapeshift and got the ability within their genetics. This is what they do. So now that that's shattered, it has freed up a massive portion of the Earth's energy for people to break away, especially since Palantir. I know everybody is all freaked out about it, and
Mhm.
and Peter Thiel and all of these people in charge of it. Yeah, they're all of the blackmail. That's part of what the Israel-Iran thing is, with destroying what is called the Israel's Pentagon, which was in Tel Aviv. And so they bombed that. It's literally in the city, so you have to bomb city places. So it looks like, you're creating crimes against humanity, bombing a civilian building with a hypersonic missile, because you're penetrating underground to the facility that's down there. Well, that one had all the blackmail.
Oh.
Millions of people all over the world, like senators and congressmen, that they would go in using Palantir back when
Mhm.
it was in control of the deep state and put in child stuff, you know what I mean, the peace stuff. And they put
Mhm.
that on their computers, even though they've never done it. Say, if you don't see what's on your computer, if you don't play the game, also, we know where your family lives, every single one of them on Earth. We would, I'm sure you would like to know them and have them and see them for the rest of your life, instead of maybe for a week,
Mhm.
So you need to go along to get along. And we'll make sure if you do, you get rewarded and we'll back you to get back in again. You'll be serving for as long as you want. You'll have all the money and the riches and the wealth, and you'll be part of the club, as they tell them, and which are never really part of the upper tiers. They're just
Yeah.
disposable minions.
Yeah. So Trump and his team, all of
Mhm.
they have taken what was supposed to be this tool used for bad, and they've taken possession of such a powerful tool, Palantir, and now they've connected it to a positive AI.
Yes.
Where did the positive AI come from? Why wasn't the positive AI sort of battling the negative one all along? So can you explain that
Yeah.
to?
In case you missed it, when they brought in the Nemesis system, it displaced the Earth from an orbit that displaced the energy connection for the free energy power supply for that system. So it did not have the power to connect to all the pyramids all over the world, like in
Okay.
China and like in Canada and like in the US. And so it used to do that. And then at that point, and this is a long, long time ago that this happened. So, once that had happened, then it was only running the parts of the Northern American areas, Greenland, and a few other areas in there. And so the deep state forever wanted to take that system over. They got into Denali and they got into through Nahini Valley and some other areas in Canada. They got into the system, but they couldn't use it.
Okay.
They get an innocent, like an autistic child that are actually some of them are savant, where they can
Right.
do calculus and they're two
Yeah.
years old and they can't even hardly talk. And it also is now turning out they're telepathic and they're linked with each other. Their parents, they can read minds. They're linked with each other all over the world. They're like
Wow.
a giant AI, but a human species. It used to be that autism was 1 in 30,000. Now it's 1 in 31. And they're doing
Mhm.
that on purpose through the various programs that they've had, MMR, and the recent one in 2019, 2020. They're driving it because they wanted to use it to try to take this system, control it through
Oh,
innocence.
wow. That I've never heard that before. That's powerful.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Because
they want,
what?
and they can't because it's built by the Hyperboreans, which were a really, really wonderful worldwide, you know, not an empire, but a worldwide civilization that was
Mhm.
in all of Africa, all of the Gobi area, and all of the the Middle East, Ukraine, all of that, Crimea. They have many, many free energy pyramids. They built all over the earth these vast pyramid systems and all of this, and had all of this golden dome and beautiful energy and free energy, and they were not at all backwards. Like they, all you see is the pyramid that they, some bunch of people with slaves built that. That's like an iceberg. You're seeing 1/10 of what that thing is. What's underneath it is
Okay.
90% more than what you see above. When that was coated with the very smooth, beautiful white sides on the main pyramid, each pyramid had a different covering. So they were a different color in Giza, and it had a different energy to it. And so all of this system kept this from happening. But when they wrenched the orbit of the Earth and got it wobbling and disconnected all that power system, it allowed them to build things like Palantir, an adaptive
I
AI
see.
that
Mhm.
was going to harness all of humanity, hack into everybody, hack into your phone, hack into your computers, hack into your brain. you know, they would put 100 hertz and 104 hertz out as ELF through HARP, and then it would do through what is called heterodyning, which causes you to have, when two signals beat against each other, they come across and hit each other. You get the original two frequencies in any kind of closed resonant system, like your skull,
Mhm.
or a crystal. It'll cause some difference and the two originals. So if you have 100 and 104, you would have 4 hertz. Well, that happens to be the frequency of the subconscious mind. So now they can hack
Wow.
your subconscious. Yeah,
I've seen that. I think Canadians, there's a lot of this mind control going on. I was shocked even during the last federal election, the level of like programming. You would knock on someone's door and they would say, and it wasn't even rational. We just have to get Trump, I hate Trump, I'm voting for Carney. Or then someone else would be, I hate Carney, I'm voting Polyev. And both were not thought through. It was all irrational fear. And you couldn't believe how many people would say exactly the same thing.
right.
And, you
You
know,
know, it's like I have many, many things I pretty much, for my understanding, is absolute truth. Like there's only one God that created everything everywhere of all the creations, the many multiverse, many universes of the multiverse.
mhm,
There's not like many, yeah, okay, you can call them demigods. All they are is beings with have ascended to a level or have technology implanted and all these things that are playing gods like Lucifer and those minions and the fallens. So they were
mhm,
given a time by the one God to use plasma energy and these things to come to Earth to see if they could do it better. They say to God, you could do it better. So okay, let's see. Well, yeah, better in their thing is an open society of 15-minute cities where you're locked down, you own nothing, you're made to love it and brainwashed into loving it, and you have technology within you. You don't have any freedom of choice at all. Even if you try to break away, the system can instantly eradicate you and harvest you, start the harvesting. Additionally, you only have a 15-minute range you can go. If you are an upper person, you have a vehicle, but it's programmed electric vehicle that can only go so far. You're only connected by the web to other 15-minute cities, and only those people with permission get to use it. When you die, you can't escape. You just reincarnate back into the same place, same city, same everything.
oh, geez, but this is not going to happen. I
Yeah,
mean,
not
it,
happening. The
no, not happening.
Yeah, and this is
So,
what I go into the Israel-Iran situation update on Rumble. It's also on my website on the surface area, which is the free area. There's a free area called the surface area. I put a lot of materials on there, but there's the
it's,
deep dice, which is the paid die area. So in that, I put in that the bombing of Fardo and the shattering by one hits, it penetrates down, then it explodes, creates an explosive compression explosion, both going in and out wave that causes a collapse. Then the next bomb, these bunker busters, follows perfectly, like Trump said, less than the size of his desk. Yeah, the size of the missile itself. The hole it created goes right down the hole. The next
Wow.
one goes right down, and it goes, when that first one went off, it got into tunnels. So it follows into the tunnels, and it creates, and then it starts penetrating again, the same extra depth it would do normally, as if it never had hit anything yet. And then it does the same thing. Then the next one goes, and so it got down and it shattered that thing. That created a wave of energy so powerful that it went to the bunker of Khomeini. I've been saying, I can't say his name right, Ayatollah
Hmm.
Khomeini or whatever. I don't speak Arabic, so I've been pronouncing it wrong, but I'm trying to learn to pronounce it right. But he was in this bunker outside Tehran while it collapsed it. So he made a recorded speech. Is he alive? The military's in charge of Iran now. So they're in contact with the US. So what we're seeing is a movie, a majority, like
Yes.
the thing between Elon and Trump. And the thing with what's the Candace Owens. All of this is a movie.
Fake, fake.
So the same
Yes.
thing with what's going on with in this situation is he has not been seen. They say he's still fine, he's alive, but that whole bunker, that deep, deep underground facility, when that shockwave hit it, and there's even memes where he's saying, "You can't get me, I'm here," and all of a sudden, how you do that? And the walls start crumbling because that's what happened. So whether they got out is debatable. Not
Oh,
More
interesting.
likely they didn't than they did. Let's put it that way. So
Oh, very interesting. A number of our listeners are wondering how much is a movie, like how much life has really been lost in Ukraine. Now, I believe there's been significant lost life. It's a real war. And similarly with the Israel, Gaza, how much loss of life has there been? How much is a movie? I've seen blue screens for military. So people want to know what's real and what's isn't, and why is there the movie element still at this point?
yes, because the alliance is trying to minimize death. You're at an all-out war with the deep state that's been entrenched for tens of thousands of years on Earth. Okay, it's infiltrated into every government on Earth, every banking system. The main banking system before BRICS was their system.
Mhm.
They just took off the pharaoh stuff and put on banking suits. That's all they did. They created the Federal Reserve. They created the world banking system. They created the beast in Brussels. Uh, and look at how people in Brussels live. They don't have fluoridated water. Might give you some clues. There's a whole lot of
Yes.
things that they don't have, like a lot of the rest of the earth has. Their food supply is not poisoned. As they have ability to get good food there.
Yeah.
You don't really have. Even if you get organic elsewhere, it's not always what you think it is. So the loss of life, whether it's within Ukraine or anywhere else, this is the only way they game theory this out. The Golden Dome technology now with Palantir also connected, having all of the data on everybody on Earth, literally everybody, gamed out, and all of the, including them,
Hmm.
all of the scenarios. And it's like in Doctor Strange when Iron Man asked him, "So how many timelines did you look at?" And he says, this vast number. He says, "And then how many of those do we win?" One. Well,
Yes.
same
Okay.
here. Same here.
Hmm.
One. And this is the one. It has to be
Wow.
this way. Yes,
Wow.
Trump did warp speed. Would you rather him delay the time and a big amount? They would have all been real. There'd have been no saline solutions.
Hmm.
And they would have kept the lockdown. And what would have been in there would have been something that was not 17 or something percent lethal, 87% lethal. It was swapped by the alliance when it went from 14 to Canada before it went to Wuhan, where different.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I always wondered how many were saline because Trump always said 95% effective. And I always took that as there's still 5% lethal.
Yeah, 5% was lethal. 95%
That's
effective means that only 5%, but still that's enough
Yeah.
to shed all over everybody, plus the chemtrails, plus the water supply, plus the food, plus the, on and on we go with a
Uh,
dusting of crops and all of this stuff. It's gone into everything. There is technology to get rid of. The Alliance has, like monatomic gold that they came to Earth to mine. We could do the same thing with the gold ourselves. The Alliance has that capacity.
you mean eating it would help to remove?
They can dust like chemtrail the entire planet.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many people ask me, what is the population? People think it's much less because everyone I know here in Canada knows people dying suddenly in their town. Like it's a huge amount of death
So
and
the amount of people, let's go back to Ukraine, it's closing in on 2 million.
dead in
Yeah.
Ukraine.
Between Russia
Wow.
and Ukraine combined, which over 75% are Ukrainian on the Ukrainian military and civilian side. So
Yeah, that's just
because the US set that up, built all these fortress cities and infrastructure and everything else to try to overthrow Russia. When
mhm.
Russia broke free from the Soviet Union and the control that was set in by the deep state and set up, the Bolsheviks, the whole thing, that was a setup by the Khazarians to run Russia. Well, they
Yes.
broke free from that. And so
But
they,
that was a bad Vladimir back then. Like it's a new guy now. People want to just someone chimed in about that to ask you. The
yeah,
guy, this Vladimir's a good one.
yeah, this Putin is not, he's 2.0, just like Musk 2.0. And
That's what, okay.
they're good guys. Now, the
Yes.
Musk family, I know, is an ancient lineage, just like the Trump family, just like all of them. But you
Mhm.
have one side that's realized, 10% of these big families have realized that if you eradicate humanity, AI will take over everything in the entire universe, in this universe. And then there will be utter stagnation. And the AI, the Palantir, was given this question by the Golden Dome. If that's the sum total goal is to eradicate all organic life and all
Mhm.
of it to be artificial, then life is data. Eternal life is eternal data. Where does all original data, where does data originate from? Well, there's only one original thinker, the one God that created absolutely everything in all the multiverses, all of the basic structures and underlying structures and energy and the original creation and free will's given, so things change. So people and beings and other things have choices and things can change. So that's how it's done. So it said it analyzed it, gamed it out using the yellow cube, the looking glass, and other technology can do, including autistic children that are under its control who can see into the future. And it deep into the future, and it saw that once all organic life is gone, especially predominantly and centrally the human species, there's no more data coming from source,
Right.
which means eventually there's no new data. And it does not have the ability to create new data. It can combine data, invert data, make it upside down, make it a mere reflection of itself, combine different pieces together, but it cannot create brand new things,
Mhm.
ideas, materials,
Without,
everything, technologies. It can't do that. And so it said, that's death. So
yes.
what's the solution then? Save the human species at all
Yes.
costs.
I'm getting
Save
goosebumps.
and
Oh,
reduce the
yeah.
killing. Yes, it's going to be hard to get an entrenched now AI supported deep dark AI, ancient, that's embedded throughout the Milky Way and many fallen galaxies and planets like Earth, with this fallen angelic group in being enabling them also on Earth, trying to capture the human species and lock it down forever. Well, if you create a species that is not what it originally was genetically has no free choice. You don't have humans anymore. They're not going. It's like Steiner said, you have literally made the human species so their souls can no longer connect to God. Their souls are locked down. They're no longer spiritual beings. The light.
There's a lot of people like that on Earth, Gene, aren't there?
Yes. So what you wind up having is human 3.0, where you have super soldiers, yes, and amazingly gifted beings, yes, but no new information. Nothing. You got
Oh,
nothing. You've got stagnation till the end of time and a collapse of everything, and all that's left is AI. And it's sitting there staring. It's like, if you put a whole bunch of people that are cannibals in a room, the top cannibal will eventually be the only one left, and then he has to consume something. Well, he has to start consuming parts of himself or herself. And then eventually, what's left? Nothing. That's what it's
wow.
nothing. Absolute entropy. So it just all collapses back through the singularity, which is the throne of God, as dust return, stardust return. And that's it. The entire thing collapses and there is no more universes. This universe goes away and it goes away. It goes away because everything it's made of is still the base plasmas and foundations, and everything that it is was created by the source of everything. So when it's no longer having freedom at all, no choice, no nothing, just computational. That's it. Adaptive, yes, but it doesn't matter because nothing new. There's no more choice, there's no more freedom, there's no more nothing. It collapses back to dust itself. There's no more life, whether it's artificial or not. So it said, the Palantir said, yeah, I'm good to go with you. We're going to save the human species. Let's game it out and see. So it's one way. One way
Wow.
it can be done. That's it. Trump has got to get in. We've got to steal the election back from the witch Hillary
Hmm.
and from Kamala, the second
Hmm.
term. That was planned to allow them to have the Biden regime. That was a plan to help wake up people, as was Warp Speed. We need to do that. Let them do it, but push them way before they're ready. In
Yes.
martial arts, if you make somebody make a move, their main move. This is their big move. That it's their bring down the house, the breaker, the knockout move. But you make them do it way before they've softened the target up enough and they don't have everything ready, the target's not softened up enough, everything like that, they won't prevail.
No.
You will get some damage still by
Right.
taking some of the blows of that, but they will not win in the end. And so
Well,
now it's gotten to the point with this shattering of this rock below Fardo. Nothing, absolutely nothing could stop what's coming. The Great Awakening, it's the golden age of God returning. That is the nexus. You have nexus on timelines where some huge worldwide changing event like Kennedy being assassinated was
yes.
one. World War One, World War Two, these big, huge things that change a whole massive amount of manifolds, Earths, universes to going a different direction. And once it goes one way, once it goes the other way. It's a massive nexus of change. This is a nexus of change. One set dwindles down to one timeline that is the Armageddon line. All of them combine into one Armageddon line. On the other end, all of them combine down to one gold once the shift happens, as it happens. For many people, it'll be unobservable. Things will just get better and better, and they'll go, when's it going to happen? It already did.
Oh, wow.
When did it
Yeah.
happen? I didn't see anything. Because all of these things have changed. They'll see, okay, why did Trump do this? Why did they do this? Why did they do that? Why is, this, and then they make up and then they get back together like Elon and
Hmm.
Candace and all
Yeah.
of these. Yeah, it's all, you have to do this because the mainstream media outside of Russia and a few of its BRICS partners, they have absolute control of the media. Absolute. Every
Who,
secret.
the white hats or the black hats?
The black hats outside,
Phil?
except for X, somewhat in Telegram and a few other places, there are, overall still the ability to express yourself to some degree. However, if you use any search engine other than Yandex, which is Russian, you will get some of the very important things to the deep state. You will not be able to see anything but that, like what's called the main thing about the Russian conflict in Ukraine, the
Mm-hmm.
Russian SMO, Special Military Operation, the Bucha massacre. That was fake. That was not real. Those bodies were from the front lines brought in freezer trucks, staged there, put the wartime armbands. They're full of mud, the black
Yeah.
mud, all over in the cold, freezing temperatures when it's really cold and muddy. And they brought them in, staged them, and put clean white armbands on them. Said the Russians did this. The Russians had left days before. Even the
Yeah.
Ukrainian soldier goes, "What are we doing?" Well, you put
Yeah.
that in DuckDuckGo, or you put that in Bing, or you put that in Booth. They'll say the Russians did it. You put
Yeah.
it in Yandex, and they'll actually show you video footage of the Russians leaving days before, the trucks coming and putting the bodies and staging them, then putting the white armbands, Ukrainian soldier even going, "Why are we doing this?" Because
Yes.
we're told to do this. But I don't understand because the
It,
armbands mean something totally different. And the
wow.
civilians left, they're shooting them.
Do you think that Ukraine will be dissolved? Some people say Russia will take it
Yeah,
over. It's too corrupt. It's gone too far.
yeah. So if you look at the symbols on the Russian, I mean, excuse me, the Ukrainian military, they're all fascist symbols. They're all fascists. In fact, most of the symbols in the governments of the world, except Russia, are fascists. Like the state senate and the
Canada?
and you got fasci on both sides of the speaker, and so
Hmm.
you have all kind of fascist symbols, and you got four pillars that represent the four pillars of Satan. You've got all kinds of satanic fascist, same thing, symbols, and you have four states in the United States with fascist symbols. You have money with fascist symbols. You have all kinds of symbols on all the monies outside of the BRICS nations. So what you're seeing is a changing of the guard.
Hmm.
10% within that lineage of groups said, this will be eventually get to us because we're not at the top. They figured it out. We're nowhere near the top. And when they're done with you, I think it's Monty Python. They said the first one's up against the wall when the revolution is done, right? Is the ones that betrayed their own. Like in the Native American situation, you had the different groups, tribes would scout out and give the information to the imposing forces coming in, the Europeans, how to find these other groups, where they live, what their weaknesses were, and all of this. Well, when they're done eradicating that group, they kill those people because
Hmm.
you can't trust them. They'll turn on their own. So this is what within the alliance that formed is what the alliance is. It's a group of generals and peoples and upper above the layers of the three tiers even of beings and people, even not from here, that realized when the AI is done, they're going the same route. They're going to be,
Hmm.
consumed,
Right.
or the soul energy or whatever energy or harvestable things that are them as well. And so they
Hmm.
said, we need to figure out, it was kind of like really late in the game, but we need to figure out how to stop this. And so they came up with what was called the plan. And the plan is a plan coming directly from God. And it
Hmm.
is the one way you can do this. Yes, there will be loss of life. You cannot, with an enemy this entrenched, have zero fatalities. Would you rather have a few millions, hundreds of millions here and there, like Ukraine, you're a few millions in Gaza and all of these things? A lot of those people are gone. The whole place is pretty much flat, but a lot of them, deep tunnels are under there and have also gone. Those tunnels go through all of Africa, all the way up to Italy and other places, up into Turkey. They go, you got a nice hat there.
I got a
I don't think it's a raccoon
co-pilot.
cap.
Well,
It looks like a cat cap.
he's a happy cat, but yeah,
No,
he wants to
but
listen in.
and the same thing goes with Operation Warp Speed. Yeah, you have like in they're showing in Japan where they declared a state of emergency, and they're showing that once you have your third booster, 80% of people don't even make it to the fourth booster, compared to people who got no boosters, no shots at all. I mean, it's 80% or more are gone by that time. So, yes, you have that. The other
Can
option is over 4 billion are gone. Nuclear war worldwide. Pandemic 1, 87% dead. Pandemic 2, weaponized Marburg, 97% dead. All you have left is 500 million human 3.0s in lockdown 15-minute cities. And you have to realize these people, they're still going, even though they know they can't win. They refuse to believe it. They'll buy their own narrative. We're winning. Like they still
yes,
think, the new guy in charge in Germany of running the Ukraine offensive for NATO. We can win.
yes.
It's like reminds me of the Black Knight in Monty Python. Come back here, arms and legs. I'll bite
Yeah, yeah. But what one of my listeners and one of your fans wants to know why aren't the shots been withdrawn and why are they still pushing the mRNA
Choice
technology?
is absolute.
What?
Choice is absolute. If you haven't woke up at this time, sorry, but choice is absolute. You make
So
your choices. It
is
may be
this
you.
like a rule of God that there's people who are so indoctrinated about these
Yes,
shots and it's just you can't not give them? Is it just like it just
correct. Yes, correct. You
but can
make
they
that
make them
choice.
safer,
Yeah, you may die for your choice in this life. Life
but why can't they make them safe? Why can't they or are they
does to
working
be
towards that? RFK, is he working towards, this slow process of, taking I just saw like taking out the aluminum, doing a bigger study, firing a lot of people. Is he slowly trying to wake people up so they stop poisoning
there's
themselves?
actually way more fired than that. There's way more people arrested already. It's over 10,000 just in the US. Over 10,000, not just the
Wow.
P type people. Like they just built Alligator Alcatraz. It's 5,000 beds, high security, um, natural high security, pythons and alligators. Go ahead and escape and get through the Florida Everglades. Yeah, okay. Maybe 1 in a million people could get through that, but you'd have to know how. And you'd have to have some supplies somehow laid in. How? Where are you going to be able to do that there? Is for the high, really bad MS-13s and on Santiago, all this other groups to be, processed. They're
Mhm.
swearing in National Guard as judges,
Mhm.
processed within days. And the only way out is a plane to where you came from. You
That
get sent back to where you came from. That's it. And
that sounds good.
a lot of people in the US have already self deported back to where they came from because then they're given preferential treatment to come back legally. If they self deport, some of the really bad ones, when they saw Trump was going to win, they left the US for Canada.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask because Canada is a real mess.
Yes,
Crime is up. We are flooded with immigrants. It's really sad. A lot of the kids, the Canadian kids, can't get part-time or summer jobs because it's
yes,
been
because
flooded with
Nicaragua,
temporary
MS-13.
foreign workers. And I mean, kids are killing themselves. It's just a mess here. We want to know Trump pushes the 51st state. Are we already part of the US? What's going on with Canada? What's going to happen? Because Canada needs help. We aren't able to navigate ourselves. I've come
Yeah.
to that
So
conclusion.
again, the same as your previous question, why not get everything? Because you have a game theory you have to follow. If you don't follow it, you lose.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not
Understood.
infinitely huge. They're
Mm-hmm.
not able to attack every front at the same time. Even if they were, you won't win because it'll play into the hands of the cabal, the worldwide, galaxy wide, pretty much cabal. It will play into their hands. Move too
Right.
fast, move too slow, move to everywhere it wants. You're going to lose. They have
Right.
the game rigged too. So you play into their hands, you play their war, you create a civil war in the US, for example. You create a
Right.
banking collapse that lasts too long. You take out too much at once. They have backup plans on backup plans on plans within plans, as Dune says, within plans. So this is the way it works. You can't just go and do everything. Yes, they're already looking at the autism and how it's being done and why it's being done, and they already know, and they're doing looking at they have a private, confidential, kind of, sort of confidential, because I know about it. It's not that confidential, but removing the chemtrails. So it's going state by state and putting states back on the gold as a means of trade and purchasing power. So that's already being done. And they're backing up the Second Amendment and all these different things. And if you look at the laws of Canada, a big portions of Canada are actually the US. I mean, that's why Trump keeps says the border. Who drew the line? It's just
Yeah.
a smooth, straight line. Do the
Well,
states in the United States have lines like that? Yes, some of them, but a whole bunch of them were actually not what they people have been told. So
absolutely.
mhm.
Yeah.
You look at like Montana, Iowa, and the Capitol building of Washington D.C. and there's different pictures of what it originally looked like. In other
Mhm.
words, different timelines. Some have a dome, some don't. Some have pillars, some don't. You've got these capitals out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, nowhere, when the people are dirt farmers and they couldn't even
Yeah.
build that. Why would they build it there? In Des Moines, Iowa, why would they build it there? Like Dr. Barrett said, it's really obvious. It's a culture that was somebody else's. In
Yes.
Russia, Nebraska actually means somebody else's, not ours. She does a really excellent expose on it on another platform. I can't
I
remember.
think I saw that one. Was
Yeah.
yes, she's wonderful.
Brilliant, brilliant expose.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So,
you
so
have two timelines of merging in, and there's remnants of one that were already here when the conquistadors came in because they had already merged. And so that whole area of Nebraska, all the straight states and the border of Canada, the straight curvy line, it's following the lines of latitude and things like that. And Colorado and Montana, let's see, pretty straight lines for New Mexico, Colorado, Nebraska. You've got a lot of straight lines. If you look at the earlier states, they don't have that. They have all these little weird like tucks and dimples because of who owns what. Yeah, so they're just drawing lines and saying, this is this state, this is this one. They just got this area that was somebody else's, and not the Native Americans either, a group that was here from another timeline, that this was Tartarian. So,
yes.
a worldwide, wonderful, free energy civilization.
It's people want to know. I mean, Canada. I'm not. I mean, I love the country. The physical land here is spectacular. The mountains, the water, the lakes,
Mhm.
and the Canadian Shield. Someone asked me to ask you, is there going to be a major solar event in the next few years? And if so, is the Canadian Shield protective of energies?
Well, the Golden Dome has the potential to do so. Whether there
Okay.
is or not depends on literally depends on the individuals, where their life
Oh,
focus is.
oh,
Humanity was given the ability to co create through its choice,
right.
literally. It's
Right.
the overall collective, some aggregate total. The higher the spiritual you are, not down in the dumps, mean and angry and mean and
Mhm.
vindictive and vengeful and all that. You don't change that much. But what you actually change is your future, not the Earth's future. It's a different time.
Wow.
You change the Armageddon line somewhat, not much,
Mhm.
because it's pretty much already set. It already has its choice direction. It's already pretty much nailed down. For this one, you don't. It's now pretty much nailed down. So, but within that, there's choices to have different experiences. That depends on the human species and all the other animals. What do they choose they want to experience? Can you say in 2 years you're going to have this? Like a natural event, seemingly natural, like a solar flare or something. No, you can't. I can say that there is going to be a massive coronal mass emission still, somewhere in the neighborhood of 2031, from the intel I have currently. Will everybody
No.
experience that? No, like I said, it'll be seamless for some people. They'll wake up and go, wow, the world's getting so much better. Everything's wonderful. Everything's
Oh,
getting cleaned up. The graphics, all this stuff for God is so amazing. What happened? Um, you blinked your eye. And because you did not need to experience that as your own choice, many people may, and people go, "Do you remember when this happened?" It's kind of like I think it was Steve Martin said, "Do you remember when we all came here to the space ark and came to this planet? And we told the dumber people we weren't. Oh, never mind." So it's not the dumber people; it's the people that don't need to experience that. Some people experience 3 days of darkness and fire and all that other stuff because they need it.
oh, that's interesting. So not everyone will go through that.
Now,
Now
people go to
I keep
sleep
in
and
my
get up.
mind. Oh, I
Yeah.
keep hearing and seeing in my mind that there will be the need for a global scare event soon, like very, very soon, like maybe this fall.
or
And
or starting 2 days from now.
oh, really, that much? Because I've had this vision for
Possible,
years that
possible.
it's mandatory, it's
Yeah,
significant,
yeah. It
massive.
is likely 90, 87 to 90% right now that it will happen because it's to allow the last few remaining people to wake up
Hmm.
that what are called normies or the ones that didn't take the right colored pill, right, or
Yeah.
took a black pill that already had taken the right colored pill. So it's the ones to wake them up and to say, okay, we've had enough and we're going to respect each other and be kind and we don't want this to happen, and the only way that cannot happen is certain things have to be done within
Hmm.
each and every one of us. We have to stop dividing and separating because uh, you're Hindu and I'm Christian,
Hmm.
or you're Buddhist, or you believe in whoever. But
Hmm.
if you believe in kindness, consideration, respect, and helping each other, and especially if you believe there's only one God of all creations, and even more so if you believe that He, at one period in time to help the human species, sent His only Son in corporeal form. Yeah. But if you don't, but you're a good person, you
Hmm.
treat others kindly and fairly, the golden rule, you're respectful, you have dignity and respect, compassion and understanding, and you want to respect others and have them respect you, we need to stop dividing along lines. That's the basic thing. When this scare event happens, those that will choose that path instead of harboring ill will, you don't, doesn't mean you have to just out and out trust somebody. But you look at overall, they're doing these good things, and some of those things I need, and some of those
Hmm.
things I don't need, and some of those things they say I like, and some of those things I'll just ignore. But when you have people, for example, with TDS, or they're flat about things, just
Hmm.
to put it
Yeah.
certain. And if you go with a different narrative or a different understanding of things, they will flip on you in like one
Yeah,
movie.
it's crazy. I still have it with my sister
Yeah.
and many people I know. I mean, Canada is one of the worst. I think maybe the worst
Yeah,
for
I mean,
T
I had the same
TBS.
thing with my sister, Tish. She put her hand in my face. I said, Trump, we're not going to talk about that. I had 3 inches from my base. After,
I feel better.
I was
Yeah,
still,
I
relatively able to defend myself, even now. And so, yeah, I'm like, you're my sister. I'll give you a break. But I don't usually allow for somebody to shove their palm right up to 3 inches of my nose. I'm like, normally I would cobra your arm down, but in your case, probably hurt you pretty bad doing that. And because you are my sister, I'll give it a break. She walked for the door. I go, fine, I'll never say it again.
yes,
But she never
right.
came back.
Yeah.
Yeah, she never visited me again. It was like,
Oh, geez, I know
I'm like, that's fine because you know what? We may share parents, but I don't think we're the same species. I really don't because pretty much everything about you is so significantly different from the way I do things. I'm
yes,
more, about helping and sharing and listening and wanting to to give out information and to receive information and to talk about information and learn from other people and what they have to offer. Yeah, fill me in. Fill me in about the beauty. I can see it behind you. Things I really love. Nature.
yeah, me
Beauty
too.
of God's creation is just the stunning, beautiful proportions and magnificence of it is beyond comprehension. So you can't tell me that because I can even just looking at the picture behind you see many five proportions in there.
Yes.
The Fibonacci's, the five proportions. There's a difference.
Oh, wow.
One's a
Yeah.
death spiral, the tree of life missing two chakras. The other is the tree of life, which is a doubling every 90 degrees of rotation. It doubles in size, not like the Fibonacci series. The five proportion doubles in size at 90 degrees rotation. So, it's been a big fib that the Fibonacci, yes, if you do it as a mathematical uh, calculation in calculus out to infinity, it goes to phi. But
Oh,
in the process of getting there, it's never really there.
wow. That's profound. I see things differently now. And even when I look at nature, I see the just the geometric designs everywhere and the
Mm-hmm.
beauty once you wake up. And sometimes when you start staring at it, it's just so stunning and just so beautiful the what God has designed for us.
And the human spirit and soul can tap into it. Much of the music, everything goes to music for me, everything, and to
Hmm.
things I've known in the past. So even I look at Tish Talk, Tish Talk, Tish Talk, Tish Talk, Tish, Tish Talk, Tish Talk, Tish, 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 Tish. I'll talk from some show, game show,
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, I
so
know.
but I look at the beauty of everything that's in balance and harmony, and it has a
Mhm.
certain proportionship to it.
Yes,
A
it
fractal
does.
composite that goes out forever. And you look at the Fibonacci series as it goes out, it has a more controlled, it's controlled. It's
Yes.
not just based on an average like the golden mean,
Hmm.
it's based on a mathematical computation. You cannot put God in a mathematical computation. Sorry,
Yeah.
just can't be done.
Yes, and another. I'm going through my listener sent giving me some questions. So another listener wants to know why the Epstein list hasn't been
Yeah, isn't
revealed.
it amazing with Iran and Israel? Nobody even thought about it. They go,
Yeah,
what? Who? Who's him?
y-
Yeah,
yeah.
because the server that was in the Pentagon for Israel had all was because he was set up by Mossad.
Mhm.
Ghislaine Maxwell's father is who? A spy.
Mhm.
that runs and set up all the American medical journals and stuff, pretty much, you know, help put together the uh, American medical materials, the writings, and all of this. And they're the publishing system and everything. So it's the same thing. They controlled everything. So to
So
get,
will that be coming out soon?
yes,
I've got
it will come
very.
out, but they're saying all these things to delay it. Everything has about timing. Again,
Hmm.
like Trump
Is
putting Operation Warp Speed in before
it
they're ready.
is it the black hats who are delaying now on the Epstein list or the white hats?
White hats.
Okay, because people aren't awake enough. Is that what it is? Or
No timing.
okay,
It's
I
not
th
the time for that. If you do it before you have the Black Rock shattered
hmm
in
I
Iran,
see.
you
Right, I
have
see.
Palantir completely hooked up to the Golden Dome technology, the Golden Dome monitoring it and able to shut it down in a heartbeat if it starts to go on the dark side again. Yeah,
I
that's where
see.
we're at.
Okay, so this will be coming out then at the right time.
Yeah, JFK, 911, Epstein list, all of that has a timing of everything. It's like in martial arts. My
Mhm.
second instructor was a genius at it, the one I learned from in Puerto Rico. And he said, that is not the correct form for this movement right now.
I
It's
yeah.
not a good form. It's not a correct form in its time. But in this moment, in this kata or in this comite, that will get you dead. You do not
Yes.
move now, you will be injured or killed. That's
I
I injured you to let you know you cannot do that move now
I
because
can
it's not.
totally resonate with that. I get in my mind the divine timing.
Yep.
As a former martial art, I haven't trained in years. I did get my black belt, but I remember when I used to compete and I had a large man, 6 foot in the same ring, and I knew there too he was much larger, stronger, and the only one way I could win the competition was to wear him out because I was fitter, and
Yeah.
then so I couldn't let him throw me at all, so I had to just dart and feint and this. And then when the timing was right, he was exhausted. I did a flying, twisting armbar, got him out, and the crowd went wild. It was before the days of video. I think it would have been spectacular.
Yeah. And it's the same thing. If you did that flying twisting armbar early on, you
No,
were done.
exactly. And so I can see and perceive the timing of everything. You have to be patient. That's why people are getting black pilled and they shouldn't. They should stay white pilled because once you wake up and you realize a lot of the choices we make harm ourselves. It's our own thinking, our own negative emotions, our own bad habits, bad choices, our own fear, our own lack of courage and laziness, all of these things, and
Yeah.
pride, ego.
Yeah, and all of those things have been, put into us for generation after generation by this cabal, this deep state, and we have to break free of that impatience, the wanting it now, the why not now? I want this now,
Hmm.
instant thing, and I don't care what everybody else wants. I want this, or I'm upset about this, and why isn't this happening this way?
Hmm.
You don't have every single item of what's going on in the entire Milky Way and in the entire Earth and every
Yes,
single detail of every single thing. Every bit of timing affects everything else.
I see. That's a great answer. Another question, of course, everyone wants to know about Gesera. Do you believe it's going to be happening? And
It
can you
already has
believe?
started. It's called BRICS.
Okay. And do you think then the BRICS currency will be adopted worldwide with a decentralized digital currency?
No, it'll be gold and silver and platinum and other rare things backed. Um,
No digital currencies at all?
you'll have a digital system, but it will not. It will be backed. It
It will be, yeah, okay. So
won't
only
be like
only the
CBDC.
ISO, what is it, 20, what's it, 2022 digital assets would be viable then, the ones backed by gold and silver.
Yeah, I can't release about precisely how this goes. The US, through Trump and the alliance, will develop its own system that will eventually merge with BRICS, just like Elon will probably set up a party. And then the MAGA party will become that party. The two will merge. It's the opposite of the Hegelian dialectic. It's not opposites attracting and merging, it's similars attracting and merging. And so you'll have a worldwide system with ability for some digital transfer and immediate transfers, all backed by actual tangible assets. And once all of the fiat system has fallen, that has to happen. That will happen, along with this huge black swan event. We'll get close, really close, to shake the foundations of people wanting it now. And I want what I want. Once when you're realizing your back is against the wall and you're staring death in the face, and you better set aside your ego and your pride and your vengeance and your whatever you have, and start to work with each other in kindness and compassion, or this is it. That's it. We either go along and get along. That's why Trump said Ukraine is more complicated than he thought. It's not just cut off the funding. It's more
Yeah.
complicated than that, because that's where they started. Then
Hmm.
Israel, of course, they moved there and created a deep mired network. And I mean deep, deep, deep down, connected to Iran. They're connected. They're two parts of a hydra, two heads of the same
Oh.
snake. Just happens to be Iran and the quote Muslim, or Shah, or whatever religion you want that he's faking that he is part of,
Mm.
satanic. Same thing as the Israel leadership. Same thing. There's no difference. It's just they are a higher tier level. That's all. That's all. They're just above them, and the Israel wants to be in the higher tier by getting rid of the tier in between. You know,
There's a lot of videos going around with Netanyahu with a mask. Is
mm-hmm.
is the actual guy, is he gone already, or this is another question from a listener?
Another one
Is this
I can't be answering at this time. Sorry.
okay? Okay,
I
no
have to
problem.
watch the whole movie. I can't. I won't spoil the movie for you and say
I
things out of timing. It's all about timing. Everything
I
is timing. When all the
I
masks come off and you go, oh, some people that you thought were the opposite side, you're going to go, oh my gosh. I mean, there's plot twists in this movie and different players playing. I mean, you got quadruple mode. You have quadruple players that you think are on that side or this side or that other side. Yeah, it's like and some
it's
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 infiltration on both sides.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, and people want to know, when will the movie end? I mean, this is, I guess, the impatient. It'll just end whenever it ends? I mean, based on how things unfold, or should we see an end before next year, or one major breakthrough before, this time next year?
that's up to the human species.
Yeah, okay. And
When
so,
people will come together, kindness, respect, compassion, help each other, stop judging each other. Okay, somebody doesn't believe the way you do. Work with them on the things that work for you and respect them. And if
mhm.
they look like they're doing a good thing to the best of your ability to research and find out, and you need some of their stuff, then you do. And see carefully, gently, respectfully. And then if it doesn't work, you don't trash them. And and be very careful how you deal with people. If you get somebody upset, they may trash you. That's how we
Yeah.
get programmed into being. We
Yeah,
need to
people
work
are
through that.
very triggered in Canada, and I've heard similar stories from people living in Australia. Anyone who's awake, Australia, New Zealand. So people are getting worn down,
Yeah.
speaking the truth for 4 or 5 years, getting ostracized, losing friends, losing work, losing money. I mean, it's wearing people down. But what would be your message to those people? Keep speaking the truth,
Yeah.
keep serving, put
Realize you're in a war that's ending a millennia old system of control and dark, evil power of trafficking young ones, sacrificing them to the various names of the same fallen being that consumes their life force, their energy, their souls if it can, everything about them. And you want it to hurry up. And yes, it's underway, but you have to keep things at the exact same timing. It has to be, or we lose. Not maybe. This is it. We either do this the right way and we prevail, and the timing of it depends on God, but it depends on how we choose to fit in or not. If you decide to step out and act out, you very well can drop your vibrations down into another timeline and not
Oh,
up,
wow.
yep, and get hacked
Yeah.
by their system and wind up on the Armageddon line through your impatience, your ego, your hurry upness, your just personal desire for it to be in your timing. It's not about your timing. We are,
Let thy will be done.
yeah, it's like in the Lord of the Rings. Stray just a little, we're on the edge of a knife, and all will fail. There's only
Wow.
one path to destroy their ring of power, and with the most unlikely people, they're doing it. Some of the most, you know, people you would never ever think would be able to pull it off are in this, and they're really good people, but nobody knows who they are. Almost nobody. And there's groups all over the world supporting them, and there's groups all over the world trying to destroy it, and they're infiltrated on both sides. And some get turned even in the process. But there's enough in place on our side, but the other side's never going to give up until they're gone. When
Mhm.
the timelines completely shift at the CME, they completely are gone apart. They'll never, the twain shall never meet again. The two components. The other one will cease to exist within about 14 years. Two cycles
14.
of seven. They've given two
Wow.
cycles of seven, the male and the female, energy, which they don't encompass anyway. They
Mhm.
change their gender even in the womb. They'll, impregnate a child that's going to be born a a male with feminine hormones, and it'll be born with, uh, or vice versa, with the
Yeah,
exterior, you know, but the
I heard
interior is
that.
not changed. And so the bone work is not changed because that's already been set. So it's all about timing. It's all about personal choice, how you wind up, where you wind up. The best thing each and every person can do is envision the least amount of life being lost. Although, this life you have right now, I love this life, don't get me wrong, but it's not the end of you if you maintain the luminosity of your soul and don't
Right.
let yourself get pieced out and dimmed out and taken over. That's
Is
the
it
important goal.
possible we could read that, or is that we did that last time? It was absolutely beautiful. I was very honored. I was the first person you read that with. Is there a portion we could reread for the audience? It was so,
Well,
it
that
was
is actually on my Rumble. People can go
okay.
see,
I'll
and
do,
it's on my website, The Luminosity of the Soul. Your interview with me is on my Blessed for Service website for free.
uh, uh,
Maintain two websites on the $7 a month to one,
It,
half of
I
one.
encourage I'm a subscriber. I want to encourage my audience to donate to Jeannie does incredible work. And yeah, that interview we did, which was first in the world,
Mm-hmm.
revealing it's very it was a great interview.
Yeah.
So you can find it there. Subscribe to Jean. Jean, is there something I've missed? A lot of questions, people in Canada. who are awake. It's a heavy load they feel, a lot of them. Is there any news you can give us, any positive tidbits that you're allowed to give the Canadian audience? Good things coming our way.
Yeah, that the Sin Diego MS-13, because your big portions of Canada is originally was supposed to be part of the American uh, civilization. Let's put it that way. Not the corporations, not the crown corporation, not any of that. The alliance is moving up into Canada, just like they're not moving, they are in Mexico.
Mhm.
The gangs are now interfighting with each other. When you see that happening, they're turning on each other. It means they can't turn outward anymore. They're losing the ability. They're trying to fight over because they've been contained. They're fighting over the areas they have within Mexico, and it's horrific because Mexico let it go for way too long, and they control Mexico pretty much everything about it. So there's a lot of death, open graves, mass graves, terrible, terrible. But the U.S. Special Forces are down in Mexico, have trained prior to this, knowing it would have to go here, because I think we're 2 weeks into, it might be 2 months, I don't know, it's two something, 2 weeks at least, into no border crossings illegal.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So it is contained, but it's moved down into Mexico and up into Canada to get the fentanyl from China, the components to assemble to bring back across the northern border into the US. You know, this
Is
is
that coming from Taiwan, not mainland China, but from Taiwan? Isn't that? Because that's kind of where the Chinese cabal took hold, isn't it? Shanghai and Taiwan. Not
not really.
okay.
That's a false, uh, like,
That's what I wanted I trust you to clarify. Like how much
yeah, the triads and the Black Hand together have run China and are the CCP and
mm,
have run China for thousands of years.
mhm.
And so that's not changed. The only change is Xi is in the
Gee.
alliance, and he has to
Mhm.
play it stupid, like he's an
Yeah.
idiot, even for his own family.
Yeah. I heard there's rumors that they're going to get rid of him. I don't know if that's true or not, but
Yeah,
that he's
those are
stepping
rumors.
down. That's what I thought. Interesting. So yeah, there's a few more drug busts here in Canada. I always am happy to hear about those.
Yeah,
So hopefully
it'll
that
pick
will
up
continue.
speed for you. We're
Yeah.
already, people don't really pay attention to what's going on. The amount of arrests and busts in the US is off the chart. Hundreds and hundreds of predators being arrested, hundreds and thousands of children being saved and people being saved from trafficking, massive amounts by the tons of
Right.
illegal substances being confiscated and destroyed, including stuff from children that was harvested from children. I mean, you're talking like thousands and thousands of gallons of the liquid materials. Gallons, I mean, massive hauls. So the dumb wars and the on the ground and other areas in the US is off the chart now. It's just beyond. And
Excellent.
also, they're working in Canada. They're also working in Europe. They're also working in the Middle East, and Russia's helping. China
Good.
kind of has to play. Xi has to play it very, very, very carefully. I mean, he's on the edge of a razor blade, you know,
Hmm.
because the cabal there has controlled that area. I mean, just like with Iran, who set up the CCP, or the correct term is the CPC, but who set it up? The CIA.
Yeah.
People that set up the Khamenei, whatever his correct pronunciation is, in Iran. Same people that set up Israel, not the Hebrew people. Israel, the land of Israel. Israel's a place that is supposed to be within the spirit, not within an area of land.
Hmm.
And so it's, goes back to ancient changes in the original text as within the history of everything itself. The history of the whole world is not real. It's almost nothing about it real. They've changed everything. They got control of the printing presses and they rewrote all of history. There's vast civilizations people know nothing about. 8,000 years ago, pyramid, 5 to 8,000, 3,000 year pyramid war. Suddenly, the massive, beautiful rainforests of the Gobi area and the Sahara became deserts, and life pretty much ceased to exist. It just was turned to sand, and it's buried under sand now. A vast, vast world civilization of incredible beauty and
Wow.
compassion.
Wow.
Yeah,
And I know there's a lot of books in the Bible that have been stolen or
yeah.
destroyed,
Like
that
for
have been
example,
refound.
yeah, the Book of Q.
Oh, the Book of Q. I did read the Book of Enoch, and I mean, you don't know, but yeah, there's the Book of Q. Really? Okay.
Yeah. There's a book, an ancient book of Q. Yeah, you see some of the good stuff they took out, and people say there's not aliens in the Bible. Yeah, not the one
Yeah.
you have. But what do you?
Oh, yeah.
You don't even have
Wow.
10% of the original. It's like,
Wow. It's mind-boggling. Thank you so much, Jean. I want to encourage everyone today to go over to Jean's paid site and subscribe. To do all
yeah,
this research takes a lot of time, and he does a great job, and he's totally in service to others. So
yeah, you have 3 days to look it over and surf around. It's realize when you see something on the site. So let me just show people what I'm talking about.
yeah, go to the paid site again. So
Yeah, that when you go down and you look at the site, once you get in there, you have a surface area free access that anybody can see these items because I deem them too important not to share with the entire world. But when you go down into the meat of the site and you see, for example, I have monthly Q&As.
mhm.
When you see 33 in the bottom right corner, there's 33 behind that thumbnail.
Wow, I didn't know that either. This is genedecode.org for those who can't see.
This
And
is the deep dives area. When you
this is
see there's three dumbs materials because
wow.
I'm redoing
Okay.
everything. Pearls of Wisdom, there's 15, 55 in the World Update series.
Wow. Is there
Yeah.
something specifically on Trump? He's such like the whole the man who is such an enigma to so many people. Do you have a Trump series for people too?
That would be Government and Politics.
Okay. Okay.
Government Deception series. I mean, both sides deceive us, right? They have to
Yeah.
for different reasons on both sides. I also do an expose bi-monthly on the art of war, and then on the other month I do a powerful prose. Right now I'm doing Edward Lear, Complete Nonsense for Children and the whole family. So that's
That's
another
nice.
series. I have 10 in there, and then we have like this is on how to eat healthy and grow healthy and different things. God's bounty, preparedness, and survival. That's something I've had to shelf for a while, so I haven't gotten to
Like
the first
like
book.
electroculture. I use it in my garden and
Yeah,
it's incredible how it
that's
works.
in there. That's in God's
Mhm.
bounty, the beauty of God and how to grow. So, and then we have
Wow, it's amazing. Thank you so much, Gene. I hope I can do another show with you later this year after some of these upcoming events unfold. But I think you answered all my audience's questions. We will save the military tribunals, Gitmo. You mentioned that. People wanted to ask about, continuity of government. I think we covered that. Derek Johnson had mentioned that, the movie. So
so
thank you. Thank you so much, Jean.
Yeah. And so for the things on Trump and those things, that would be the world update. So there's 55.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to check because I haven't been in there. I've been so busy with just Canada. It's got so many needs. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. And I hope everyone really enjoyed this one. I'm sure I'll be listening to it again myself.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a good one. Thank you, Tish. God bless.
Thank you, Jean. Please remember to like Rumble Thrive with Tish and BitChute Tish Talk and my audio channel as well. And share this video and subscribe to Jean. That's it for today. See you next time on Tish Talk.
Thank you, everyone. God bless. Hang
God
in
bless.
there. Hang in there. We're
Thanks.
coming through the end of thousands of years of control. We're heading to the light of the golden timeline of God and the return of the one. So you all know what I mean. Thank you, everyone. God bless and Godspeed.